is in good shape. I think as good as we could expect. Obviously, the fans always want more and more and more. They want every race to be a barn burner, which cannot be guaranteed, But everybody tries. There's always a challenge, in trying to, not to allow so much of the technology to infiltrate in the sport to make it easier for the driver. Too easy for the driver, to perform. That's always a challenge that will remain. So to keep it a sport, you got to make that driver work. No traction control, none this, none that. So, but overall, I think us that love the sport so much, I think we have reason to feel good and rejoice into the future.
So having said that, talking about, developing drivers and coming up in the sport today, what would you tell a young driver, a young racer who wants to develop and grow and become the next Mario Andretti? What are just a couple of things that you would tell them, where to go, what to do, what not to do, if you have a couple of ideas?
Well, that's you'd have to look at each individual personally. Just where they are, what I put it all in one word: just follow your dreams. It's I look at the plan in my life. I didn't have a plan, but I only had one plan, no plan B. Only plan A. And believe it or not, if you're driven by burning passion and love, you will find a way to suit your situation, and then you hope that the right things could happen at the right time. I look at different chapters of my career, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, what if this wouldn't have happened? What if that wouldn't have happened? Could I plan for any? And no. I just told you earlier, for instance, what if Roger Penske would have been there to take the test drive that I got with Dean Van Lines? What would have happened to me? What would have been you see what I mean? You can, I wish I had a playbook, that you say, okay, young lad, follow this, and that, and it's going to get you there. No, I think talk to 10, 20 different drivers, current drivers today, you're going to get 10, 20 different stories. And but it's everything, anyone that arrives at a level that they obviously satisfaction, they arrive there because they have this burning passion and drive to just, and mindset, to get it done. And you definitely find a way. I hear a lot of excuses. Oh, well, it takes money nowadays, this and that. Something I've never seen in my entire career, in the sport, real talent go to waste, and that's clear. So it's once you demonstrate, if you demonstrate that you're really a cut above, you're not going to be wasted. Believe me, somebody's going to pick you up. So that's what it is.
You mentioned John and Jarrett Andretti. They do some non-wing racing out in Indiana. So do you get to follow them? Do you get to follow the USAC, the World of Outlaws, any, or is it mainly IndyCar, Formula One, NASCAR now?
Well, I wish I could have the time, to follow all of it. I follow as much as I can, the activities of Jarrett, but there's a lot of times, like during the week and so forth, where I'm traveling, I have, so many other things on my plate as well, not just the racing, So, but again, I'm there in spirit for sure, and I wish I could follow all of it, but I'm interested in all of it as much as I can. I try to stay as informed as possible because that's it. That's what I love. So, these guys, even if I'm not there, they know I'm on their shoulders and just, whacking them on the side of the head if they don't do something right. So.
I'm sure they hear a lot from you when you guys are around each other about driving styles and are you able to give them a considerable amount of coaching?
Well, I don't know about coaching, but we talk about racing for sure. It's just that I find that a guy in my situation, can you imagine how much better I would do things if I had the opportunity to do it over again. So the only areas that actually sometimes I can contribute is on the safety side and minimize mistakes. Because I think I made every mistake that was ever made, throughout my career. So if I could just minimize some of those or at least contribute, to these young lads, maybe to, not to get into those situations or at least look for things and be more vigilant, and then it's mission accomplished. One thing you cannot teach anyone how to go fast. It's either in your belly or it's not, and that is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that statement, I think we are going to wrap it up here, and I am incredibly grateful that you joined us today. Thanks for coming on the show, Mr. Andretti. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Jacob and Clint.
Thanks a lot for joining us, and have a great week in Pennsylvania, not Indiana.
Same to you. Okay. All right. Take care.
So nice 35, 40 minutes there with the legend, Mario Andretti.
I'm still kind of in shock, I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I was very nervous going in to that interview, obviously with my blunder there about where he lives at the beginning of the episode. But, he's incredibly welcoming on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Super nice guy. As I mentioned, my son and I ran into him 3 or 4 years ago out at Mid-Ohio. He stood and talked with us for 10 minutes or so. Super nice, very approachable, and just a great human being.
I mean, it feels like we've known him forever. The way the conversation went and all the details and stories he told us.
Yeah, so that was awesome.
I can finally sleep at night again.
I know I've been thinking about this for a week and a half.
I know. It's like last night. It's like, oh, I interview Mario Andretti tomorrow. How many people get to do that?
We hope that you guys enjoyed that interview with Mr. Andretti. Thanks to him for taking the time to get on the phone with us today. And it was definitely a pleasant experience, and it's awesome to hear those stories.
I learned so much.
So you went to the last sprint car race of the year.
Pretty much, yeah.
On this weekend.
Yeah. So for sure it was the last 410 wing sprint car race. I'm not sure if there's any 360 or non-wing stuff going on anymore, but Saturday I woke up and a little before 6 o'clock I was on the road to Baps Motor Speedway over in central Pennsylvania. They had a nice 10,000 to win show. They had about 26 410s show up, and they had 358s on the card as well. There were about 13 or 14 of those guys. But obviously all eyes were on the 410s. So it was a very sunny but very chilly day. The wind did us absolutely no favors whatsoever this Saturday. But once the racing got going, you really didn't notice it. And like I said, there were 26 cars, $10,000 to win. Some of the notable names in there, we had the Shark Boys, Logan Schuchart, Jacob Allen. They showed up to take one last stab at $10,000, and Darren Pittman and the Roth car was there as well. They hung out after Charlotte for an extra week before the Roth guys head back west. They may have been trying some new stuff out in the car. I'm not sure.
Testing some new equipment?
Getting ready for 2020, just, throwing the kitchen sink at it. I don't know. But Baps just put on some new clay. I know there were some complaints, I think, before the race the track surface may not have been the best. I don't know. I wasn't there. But Saturday, they had the new clay on. It looked like it worked in really well, that nice red clay. With it being kind of cold, it slicked off pretty quick. But by feature time, it was pretty good racing. We had Darren Pittman and Danny Dietrich. starting on the front row, and Pittman led, I think, about the first 20 or so laps before Dietrich got by. Dietrich, like I said, he just got by him, and just really couldn't get, or Pittman just couldn't get back by. All the cars are pretty equal by the looks of it. You know, it was pretty slick. But it was Dietrich picking up, I think, his 15th win of the year, 100th career win for his car owner, Gary Kaufman, so that was pretty cool. And obviously, there's no really better way of ending the season than with $10,000. So Pittman got second. Anthony Macri, who's probably one of the most underrated sprint car drivers in the nation, finished third. I'm looking for him to have a massive year next year, I hope. He had some really good runs against the All-Stars and Outlaws, and I believe Jacob Allen was fourth and Logan Schuchart was in fifth. So all in all, it was a really good day. I got to thank Jeremy Elliott from Sprint Car Unlimited and Colton Gauss, the manager over there at BAPS, for a tremendous day. And when it was all said and done, I was back in bed at 11:59 p.m. So it was a long day, about 800 miles of driving, but I got to see the last sprint car race in the nation.
So that's a wrap for the outdoor dirt season.
Yeah, in this part of the country at least.
This part of the country, we've got the gateways coming up in St. Louis.
Yep.
So there'll be some the modifieds, late models, and the midgets there. Mm-hmm. And that'll be happening before the Chili Bowl.
Yep.
Which is another well-known dirt event coming up here in a few months.
All right, and we have the Rumble in Fort Wayne as well. There, December 27th and 28th over Fort Wayne, Indiana. We get some guys like Tony Stewart, Rico, and Cap Henry usually race. John Ivey always does well, and even names like Justin Peck show up. So, I mean, between all the go-karts and quarter midgets and 600s and midgets, I mean, that's a full day of racing indoors.
I'm looking forward to heading out and watching some the Buckeye quarter midget.
Mm-hmm.
It's what is the series is called, Buckeye Quarter Midget Series. It's in Columbus.
Mm-hmm. At the barn or something.
Yeah, I think they race at the fairgrounds in Columbus.
I think so. Yeah.
I'll make sure that we share that on the Facebook page. I've been following that, and I'm excited to take my kids out and check it out and see what kind of habit we can develop next year. And find myself owning a quarter midget here in the next couple of months.
Well, then you get to go to more races.
Yeah, this I do. I do. So, well, that's pretty much a wrap on episode 31.
Yeah.
Make sure you continue to share these episodes, and thank you for tuning in. This is a huge one for us, and we are incredibly appreciative to Mr. Mario Andretti for giving us 35 or 40 minutes of his time today.
He's a busy person by the sounds of it.
Yeah, and he's got his hands in a little bit of racing all
everywhere.
Over. Yeah,
yeah,
all over.
Maybe more than Cody Sommer.
Maybe. Nonetheless, we are now 3.5 months away from Volusia when the Outlaws and the sprints or All-Star sprints get back out.
Yeah, it's too long.
And we're just a month away from PRI. So if you're a listener and you're going to be at PRI, make sure you let us know. Jacob and I will both be at Indianapolis, and we'd like to meet you and say hello. With that, I think we're done.
I think so.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. And always get out, get dirty, and support your local tracks.